Clung to life. Texas flood survivor Christian Fell recounts harrowing escape, credits God for survival. By Your News Channel, July 7, 2025. Texas. In a gripping and emotional appearance on Fox and Friends, Texas flood survivor Christian Fell recounted the terrifying moments he faced as a raging wall of water burst into his home during last week's catastrophic flooding in central Texas. Holding back tears, Fell described how he clung to life, literally and spiritually, as the water surged around him, destroying everything in its path. "I don't know how I'm still here, except by the grace of God," he said. The floods, triggered by days of torrential rainfall, have wreaked havoc across the state. Hundreds of homes have been submerged, at least 23 people have been confirmed dead, and thousands more have been displaced. Among those who experienced the worst of nature's fury was Christian Fell, a 34-year-old father of two from Bell County. The water was everywhere. In his interview, Fell described how the disaster unfolded in the early morning hours of July 1. "I was in bed, and I heard this rumbling sound that didn't seem right," he told Fox News hosts. "By the time I got out of bed, water was already pouring under the door. I barely had time to grab my phone and get my kids out of their rooms." He explained how within minutes, the water level inside his house had risen from ankle deep to chest high. "It was a wall of water. I've never seen anything like it," he said. "One second we were standing on the floor, the next we were floating." Christian managed to lift his children, ages 6 and 9, onto a floating mattress, using it like a raft. "I kept pushing it toward the attic access. The water was rising so fast that I knew we were running out of time," he said. A desperate climb to safety. With power already knocked out and no cell service, Fell knew rescue wouldn't come quickly. Acting fast, he broke through a small attic panel and hoisted his kids into the narrow space. "I told them to keep praying, to hold on, and to stay quiet," he recalled. Christian then attempted to climb up himself, but the current inside the house made it nearly impossible. "The water was pushing me against the walls. I slammed into the refrigerator, into the couch, into the banister," he said. "I couldn't get a grip on anything. I just kept slipping." In what he calls a miracle, he managed to wrap a curtain cord around his wrist and use it to climb. "It was like something out of a movie. I don't remember making it up there. I just know that suddenly I was holding my kids again," he said. "I collapsed next to them and started crying. We were alive. That's all that mattered. God had his hand on me." Throughout the interview, Fell repeatedly credited God for his survival. "There's no other explanation," he said. "I didn't have the strength to do what I did. I was scared, I was weak, but somehow I found the strength to save my kids. That was God." He shared how, during the darkest part of the night, he kept whispering prayers. "I said, 'God, please don't let my babies die. Please.' And somehow, he heard me." Fell also praised the kindness of strangers who showed up the next morning in boats and kayaks. "We were rescued by a neighbor I didn't even know. He busted down the front door with a hammer and pulled us out," he said. A community in ruins. The town of Bell County, along with other hard-hit areas like San Marcos, Wimberley, and Marble Falls, is now facing the long road to recovery. Emergency services are stretched thin, shelters are overflowing, and power outages continue in several counties. The National Guard and FEMA teams have been deployed to assist in search and rescue, distribution of supplies, and debris cleanup. Local churches and nonprofit organizations are stepping in to help. The Red Cross has established emergency shelters, and volunteers from across the state are bringing food, clothing, and water. For Christian Fell and many others, the tragedy has also brought moments of hope and unity. "I've never seen people come together like this," he said. "Strangers are hugging each other in the street. People are sharing food, sharing homes. It's beautiful in a way." Looking ahead with gratitude, Christian Fell's home is now unlivable. Everything inside, furniture, family photos, clothing, was either destroyed or washed away. Yet, he's not bitter. "All that stuff can be replaced," he said. What matters is that my kids are alive. I'm alive. And we're going to rebuild. He's currently staying with relatives and says he plans to help others clean up as soon as he can. There are people worse off than me, he said. I want to help however I can. When asked what message he wants people to take away from his story, Fell became emotional. Don't take your life for granted, he said. Hug your kids. Say your prayers. And know that no matter how dark it gets, you're never truly alone. State and federal response. Governor Greg Abbott has declared a state of emergency in over 40 counties, and President Joe Biden has pledged federal support for relief and reconstruction. The National Weather Service has warned that more rain could be on the way, raising fears of additional flooding in already saturated areas. We are doing everything in our power to ensure the safety and recovery of Texans, Governor Abbott said in a press conference. But it's stories like Christian Fell's that remind us of the strength and resilience of our communities. Final thoughts.